Want to be a lead magnet? It starts with using better words on your website. Hey, I'm Liz Theresa, and I'm here to tell you that improving your copy is the absolute easiest, quickest, and most cost-effective way to get more clients and cash rolling in. Go to freecopyvideo.com to download my free copywriting training. See you there. Hello, and welcome to the Liz on Biz podcast, where the guests are barely prepped and I'm barely ready. I'm your host, Liz Theresa, and I help you launch and build online businesses you love. This podcast is all about entrepreneurship, and I hope you like it.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Liz on Biz. Here with me today is Nicole Nell, also known as DJ Nikki Nell. Welcome to the show.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me, Liz. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to talking with you today.
So you're a woman of many names and likely many talents, but tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure, I'll give you a little background. So Nicole Nell is president of Visual Sound Productions Incorporated. It's a multi-op production company that has 4 specialized divisions: weddings, multimedia, audio, visual, and talent. And then there's the other side of me that is the performer. So I'm also known as DJ Nikki Nell, and I'm a professional performance DJ that has an open format style, and I travel across the country doing some really, really cool events.
So what would you say, like when you think about your work week as a human, do you do is it like a 50-50 split between your more corporate-y company and your performance life? Or what would you say is like the time investment, how you spend your time?
You know, that's always my biggest struggle, is the balance, right? Because It's kind of like I can't be in 2 places at once. If only I could duplicate myself. I think that's always everybody's issue, or if the days were a little bit longer. But luckily they do kind of coincide with one another. But right now, with the company growing so large, my main focus is being the president of Visual Sound Productions. I was telling you earlier, I just bought a building for the company. So that alone is like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Building a whole, a whole abandoned building and, bringing it from the ground up. So right now my DJ career is a little bit, I'm still doing some really, really amazing things, and I still DJ on the weekends, every weekend, but I do have to take some time off and not accept as many gigs, just because right now I'm going through that crazy growth period where my attention needs to be more on presidential side. And then once I, hire more people to take on some of the roles that I don't need to be doing anymore, then I can start focusing a little bit more on the DJ career.
And so when you think about VSP, because you self-refer to Visual Sound Productions as VSP, right?
Yeah.
I like that
name. I'm like, it's VSP.
It's a lot of syllables.
Yes, there's a lot. It's a mouthful.
It's not even your fault. Production, anything that's called a production sounds like a production. So it's nice to shorten it. It's like comforting. But you said you have these 3, there's 3 main arms. You have the wedding arm, you said the multimedia arm, and then the talent arm. So weddings would be you're shooting, just so people have a wicked clear idea, you're shooting weddings. So is that photography and videography, or what is the weddings part of the business like?
So there's actually 4. You just missed one more leg. It was the audio visual part.
Oh, audio visual. Okay.
Yeah. And we can get to that later. So with weddings, we're full service weddings. So we do everything from the entertainment. We have a roster of DJs and live musicians.
Including you?
Including me.
Cool.
Yes. Like myself alone, I DJ about 100 weddings a year.
That's a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
100 a year? There's only 52 weeks. So
I
that
know.
means it's every Saturday and Sunday you're busy?
Correct. Yep. It's either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And a lot of people are getting married on Thursdays now too, which is crazy.
It's cheaper.
To think about. Yep. It's cheaper. Yeah. And honestly, from COVID, there's literally there's been there's no dates left pretty much, because we were, postponing everything and whatnot. So people are just hey, I don't want to wait 2 more years. I just want to
move on with their life.
So yeah, I'm we're here for it.
Wow.
So I'm still DJing every single weekend. So we do the entertainment part, we do the lighting design, whether it's dance floor lighting or, textured lighting or some type of accent lighting. We take care of all the lighting design. We have photo booth rentals, different types of photo booths with different experiences. And then we do the videography. So we can capture everything that day of. So it's kind of full service, one-stop shop, make your life easy. You got enough to worry about.
Photo booths are so fun.
Oh yeah.
At any event.
Blackmail. It's all the blackmail of everybody.
It's just great. It's the blackmail.
That's what I tell everybody. It's the blackmail.
But it's true. And because it's just like a way for people to play, you know?
And we have some of the printing ones too. So it's like everything nowadays we have is digital. So it's nice to have something that's tangible and whatnot. So yeah, it's a huge hit always at the weddings.
So then, because I like talking about these different arms of your business. And so when you think about the wedding arm,
yes,
you've probably had to hire a lot of people. So is there like kind of like a team for each arm?
Correct.
At this point?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because then you'd have to have 4 arms yourself.
I know, trust me. It would help. It would help. But what's nice is that even though like they're separated and they have their own specialty, I cross train a lot of people. So like, if you're doing wedding videography, you could also do corporate videography with the multimedia commercials for, corporations and things like that. So
that is the multimedia, you do commercials and stuff?
Yep.
It's so fun.
Yes. And that's what a huge thing about with the building is we're going to have a photography studio, a videography studio, recording studio. We'll have a podcast studio, So we'll get to open our doors to people to utilize the resources that some people don't have.
Yes, for sure. Well, and I think too, I imagine that some of your corporate clients, sometimes they'll come, I would guess, and they might be like, I need a commercial and I know I should have one. And is that all they know? Like, do you ever get to be the one to like fill in the blanks for people?
Yeah, so we do some storyboard and some visions, with certain clients. I think it all depends on when they come in. And lately we've just been having to subcontract out all of the studio rentals and whatnot. So it's going to be nice to have everything in-house and we can have full control of everything. But it really is all dependent on the client. And I think that's why I love this industry so much, because you never know, who you're working with, what their story, what their vision is. And for us to be able to, listen and to be able to execute it and kind of bring it to life. That's what I love about, the industry that we're in. It's very creative. And
you can get to mix it up. You're working with like a bajillion different kinds of people. It must be tricky though. I mean, I've never worked in the wedding industry because, well, I just don't, because I don't know. I'm in like a B2B, right? But like, do you ever think that they're the harder client than the B2B client?
You know what?
Does Bridezillas or is not? I mean, I was not a Bridezilla, but like I know they exist.
Believe it or not, like I feel like grateful enough that we attract a certain type of client. Which is great. Like, it's usually younger couples who don't want your typical traditional wedding. They want something more, club style, more energy, more of a party and a celebration.
Yeah.
And, they're super easy to work with. And to me, whenever I have somebody inquire, like I always say, like, let's hop on a call and connect, because it's super important that the connection goes both ways, like that we're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for us. Because I don't want to deal with somebody that like I don't connect with, it wouldn't work for us. No. So I'm luckily at the point where, if I feel like it's not a good fit, I'll be honest with them and maybe recommend them to somebody else. But I've never had like a crazy,
that's right.
Knock on wood, right?
I've heard some, because like, I don't know, I watched this girl, my Facebook algorithm is kind of funny with what kinds of videos I get served. I told somebody the other day, I'm like, I always get episodes of Friends, Seinfeld, House, and Dr. Phil, and then I get this girl that tells stories and stuff from like people on the internet. And I listened to some crazy bride ones last night. And I was like, oh gosh. But I know that's just crazy internet stuff. That's not always, hopefully, The case that I love
real life. Sometimes real life.
That's real.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff from other, DJs in the industry, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like our stories are more crazy stories where like our clients like get like white girl wasted and do some wild things, and
I could believe that. Some
yeah.
But like you've also worked enough on your branding, probably that I like that you said that you're just attracting better personalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's better for you.
It is. It works out. Like I always tell everybody, if you want like a casual wedding, like we are not a good fit for you. We want it to be over the top. Like we have special effects.
Like a concert.
Yeah, we really take the entertainment and the client experience to like the next level, to just give people, something different and make it more of an experience. So we're all about that. Like if you want a party, we're the people for you.
I love that. And I think that there's definitely still a market, of course, for the big weddings. Like not just I know micro weddings became a thing. Also, just like you said, people are running out of dates probably and just want to move on with their life, because weddings are a lot. I get it. My first wedding was a bigger wedding, and then my second wedding, and I'm done now, was much smaller. Like the second wedding, I only spent like $6,000. Like I spent like nothing. It was great.
No, but that makes sense. Time. Like you said, like,
it was the second one. I was like, and I'm good, and he didn't care. We just wanted to be together, move on. And then it was like, what we did the next day? We bought a TV. Isn't that weird? Like the first day, like we did a mini honeymoon just like nearby. And then we were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to go to Target. So, like we went to Target, we bought a television. It was
you guys are wild.
Fun. I know. I was like, we're so wild. That's a hoot. I forgot about that till now. No, I love hearing about your clients. So and just thinking about the B2B side, because of course a lot of folks listening are entrepreneurs and business owners, but like thinking about them, so commercial is one thing, but like I know that you referenced before that you guys do like reels and stuff. Like is that true? Like you film like content for social media and stuff?
Yes. So social media, it's like it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's like it's amazing because you have access to all of these people, but then the curse is that you have to be consistent about it, and it's a lot of work. So what we will partner a lot with businesses and put them on like retainers and be like, hey, all right, so every month we'll make sure we create, 10 reels for you and like, 20, pictures of whatever, whatever it is that you're trying to promote. So we try our best to help create the content for them, but then it's up to them, to post it and, to do the marketing side of it. We just do more of the content creation side.
But that's most of it. I feel like it's very hard to, as the business owner, like to just create and create and create. Yeah. It's so nice when it's just handed to you.
Handed to you. Here
you go.
That's it.
Because like, I think too, people, and I think it's true, to compete on Instagram, for example, you really do need to make video content. You need to get into the Reels game, in my opinion. And that vibes with you too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like the algorithms change quite frequently. So it's our responsibility to be like, okay, this is what we suggest for the client. Now everything needs to be vertical and portrait, it's more real estate on your phone and, different things. So as the algorithm's changing, we always advise our clients, hey, this is our best option, unless, they're doing more like, how-to videos and whatnot. That's more YouTube based, where we would recommend doing more of a landscape. So just depending on what their needs are, and we can kind of guide them like, hey, this would be the best option for you. But it's ever changing. It really, really is.
Well, and even like, I love the example of thinking about how content is different on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then there's also YouTube Shorts, which like, I don't know much about, but like
a reel. It's
like a reel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's even like it's another way to repurpose content. Do you ever feel like, are you able to advise business owners too when it comes to like, where should I be placing my video content? Because I think sometimes too, now that everywhere has a reel, like even Facebook has reels and Instagram has reels and YouTube has shorts.
Yep.
And then there's TikTok. Like, and I feel like sometimes they're like, do I really have to put the same thing everywhere. And I'm always kind of like, no, pick one that makes the most sense and like go crazy because you'll just do better. Unless they have the bandwidth and the team to implement. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? What do you think?
It goes based off the audience that you're trying to attract. Okay. So a lot of if you're looking for a more mature audience, definitely Facebook is, the way to go. If you want something that's a little bit younger, TikTok would be, the better option. But I think it all depends on what you're trying to get across and what type of client that you are trying to attract. But yeah, it really is all dependent.
It can be dizzying. So I feel like they're lucky, to have you. And you're in the Springfield area, right?
Correct. Yes.
I placed you there only because folks listening are sometimes everywhere, all over the country and very far away across the sea. So you guys some of you would have to try really hard to get to VSP, but many of you are local, so you don't have to try that hard. You could just
413 Western Mass. But we do service we do service across the country, really, with everything that we do. We actually travel quite often.
Do you really? Because you said, well, for your DJ life, I know you have to travel. Is that more of the travel is for DJ life, or is it also for the business? For audio visual too, we have, or even for recording certain clients where if they have certain branches, if they want us to take care of videos for all their branches, we'll have to go, all over. We have a lot of corporate clients. Not only do we do their multimedia content, but we also will do all of the AV for their conferences or their events and stuff.
Yes. And most of the time they're not just in one location. They have to travel if they have different locations and branches that we need to go to.
AV is a lot. I mean, it's not a wicked big deal. But I know it. Do you want to know how I know this? Is because I used to do theater and you get mic'd if you're in a musical, there's mics and then there's whatever. And so Norwell High School, I donate our team to do their posters and t-shirt designs and whatever every time they do a play. But I remember they had to do a play. It was $8,000 for mics or an AV. And I'm and they're just little babies to me.
Are you talking to purchase or to rent?
Rent.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's all to say.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's AV is a whole thing. But you don't sell it, you just rent it, right? And set it up.
We rent out to people. So if somebody didn't want us, if they had their own AV team and they just needed the equipment, we do rentals, but we also provide, full service as far as AV techs, like execution and design.
Wow.
And planning.
But I think it's mind-boggling to people that don't totally understand the craft.
Yes, it's a little
because to us we're just isn't it just a microphone?
Right, but then you got to remember, okay, now you need bookers, and now you need speakers, and now there is a lot to it. It is definitely our biggest.
That's your biggest thing.
It our most popular is our weddings. That's literally what we're looking for. That's how I started everything. But now our the AV side of it is definitely it's the most demanding as far as equipment, staffing goes. It's not just they're never just one day. Usually the look in and the setup is one day, and then then the event, and then post production. So it is the biggest one that we got.
Wow. Yeah, it's because there's so many moving parts to that.
Yes.
That I think it's an education. Yeah.
We do everything. The projection, the staging, the pipe and drape, we love going into a space and having full control. We know
we know what to do.
Exactly.
Isn't it fun that must be very fun and creatively fulfilling for you. To walk into a blank canvas and be I can make this pop.
Yep. I love that part. It's a lot of work, but I love seeing the final result, and I knowing that I can do it.
Yes. I would think that's wicked. I mean, It's the same. I mean, we do graphic design and websites and branding, and I love the blank canvas because I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's right for this person. It's just it's such a good feeling. And so then you have the talent side of your business, and is that kind of like where you have talented people that you represent, or how does talent work?
Yeah, you nailed it. So pretty much we have a roster of DJs and musicians at the moment where, if somebody just wants to book them for their talent side and maybe, doesn't need the whole, setup and whatnot, they just need the talent, they can go through us. And that is the baby of all of the divisions, but we're working on growing that roster even larger. So we take care of all the contracting for them and all.
So are you like their agent? Like you're,
yes.
And I don't want to do, I did air quotes. The agent?
yes, the agent. The agent.
How like Joey on Friends, I'm like, okay, when he does the air quotes. I love how that's like now a 20-year-old TV reference. It's so depressing. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it is unbelievable.
It's a wild time.
They stay with you. So,
yeah.
I'm going to pull it back to business owners because that's just the kind of folks that are listening to this show. Do you have thoughts and advice for them when it comes to like, maybe they're not at the stage where they're ready to hire VSP or a company like yours, but maybe they're like, oh, I know I want to start getting into video content. Where do they kind of begin when they're like thinking about the types of things that they would want to create? Like, where are they getting some ideas?
I mean, the best thing to do is to be inspired from others. So I would literally stalk people on, online and see, okay, I like how their branding looks. I like their consistency. I like how they're posting it, and just kind of use that as inspiration and then start to implement it on their end. I think the best thing to do is hold yourself accountable. And I know how I do that is I put it on, like I have to write it down on a to-do list, and I have to make sure I check that off and make sure I accomplish it. I can't do just digital stuff. I don't know. It's just, I'm just old school.
I have a to-do list, like a paper person. I have a notebook just for that. And I actually love that you're like, put it on there, because I kind of think one of the things that feels daunting is thinking, oh, I have to be creating content every single day. And I'm kind of like, even if you made one piece of content this week and repurposed it just a few different ways, that's a check mark that you can feel good about at the stage that you're at. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I need what I think you said that you guys are awesome. You do 10 reels a month for each client.
Depending, we have different packages for what they kind of an example.
Yeah, but that's really cool. And so, but I'm kind of like, for folks listening that are like, oh, 10 sounds hard for me. Right. Like, even if you did 3 and they were really good.
Yeah, or once a week.
Once a week.
Mm-hmm.
A few. Like, and start with because I'm always like, I think where people fall off the wagon, or where they think that there is a wagon, is if they think that they have to be consistent and do it like every day or every week, or, they have to like, they create a rule for like, I have to do X, Y, Z to be successful. But I think make it reasonable. It's kind of like if you want to start cooking more and you're like, I'll cook every day. You won't.
Yeah, no, you won't.
That's horrible.
Are too high here. You got to be realistic, and it's just baby steps. I think that the biggest thing is making it a part of a routine and just consistency. And if you can start with doing 1 a week, and then if you feel like, okay, now I can increase it to 2 or every other week, everybody has their own pace that they need to work at. But you really do, if you just got to hold yourself accountable by writing it down or putting it in your schedule, like block off an hour and just get it done and just make it happen. I think our biggest thing is our excuse is always that there's no time. And I'm one of those people that uses that because there's really not enough time in the day for everything I have to do. But you can make time. If there's a will, there's a way. If this is something you really want to do, you can make time for it. And you just have to schedule it and just be consistent. So I think it's just holding yourself accountable, really.
I love that. And I think that there's a lesson in that can be applied universally to whatever your next goal is in your business. Is that if it's important to you, you'll make the time to actually see it through and make it happen. So Nicole, tell everybody where they can find you online, because you're wicked cool and they should go do that.
Okay, well, thank you. So for the company, it's Visual Sound Productions, and our Instagram handle is Visual Sound Prod, PROD, and that's across everything. And then if you want to follow my DJ journey or come rock with me, at one time, I'm actually going to be DJing the VIP party for Pitbull when he comes to Hartford, and I'll be doing an after party for a podcaster that's going to be coming to MGM. So we have a lot of cool events that are going to be coming up, and you can find me at DJ Nikki Nell. So it's NICKINELL, and that's across all platforms.
Okay, you guys, all the links will be in the show notes. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing, and I can't wait to start subscribing to you and listening to all of your podcasts. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for listening today. Be sure to subscribe, listen again later, tell your friends, leave a review, because all of that helps me do all of this. For show notes and more information, check out liztheresa.com/podcast.